Hi guys, I want to have a little bit of a dialogue today. And I know this isn't everyone's subject, but I feel real confident that we have enough followers that we can have this discussion, and I want it to be a discussion. I want to tell you what I think and what my research has found, and I want you to comment below if you have a difference of opinion, politely, or if you found other research or whatever. Let's talk about this, okay? We are all adults here, and we should be able to have an open, honest conversation about breast health, okay? Now, the majority of my followers right now, anyway, and on this current date, are women. Probably 98% women. Now, when I first started my channel, we were only 85% women, and the men have just kind of fallen away. And I'm not sure why that is, if perhaps they started out because they were curious about me and I just wasn't their cup of tea, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea, you know, sometimes I'm a cup of coffee, all right? I don't know. I don't know what happened, or maybe just my name intrigued them. Now, this is not a recipe. This is a lifestyle video, okay? So if you follow me just for recipes, then don't give me a thumbs down. Just click on and, you know, wait for a recipe to come. But this channel is called Tina Turner because it's everything in Tina Turner's little brain, okay? It's how I live my life and my thoughts about things and my particular journey with health and this plant-based diet, okay? Now, let me give you a little bit of background. And if you're a man, you don't have to turn off, because breast health, I hate to tell you, is a man's issue too. Breast cancer affects about 1% of men. But if you're that 1%, it's a big deal to you, right? So, you know, you might have daughters or sisters or wives or girlfriends or mothers that you may want to pass some of this on, or perhaps talk to if you feel open enough. But I really want us to have a conversation. And the reason why I'm having this is because it's near and dear to my heart. Well, you know. Closer than you think, right? And it's something that really affects me in my day-to-day life. And I know there's a lot of you out there that this affects too. So let's open up and chat about it, okay? Now, I'm not a doctor, and I don't pretend to be one. I'm gonna tell you what my research has found, and you tell me what your research has found. And I'll tell you what I'm personally doing, and you tell me what you're personally doing, and let's brainstorm here a little bit, okay? Now, Dr. McDougall has done a couple of little videos on breast cancer and breast health. He doesn't believe in mammograms. He thinks they're unnecessary and they put women at risk because of the radiation. Now, he has gone on record to say that if you have breast cancer, remove the lump. Don't do radiation, don't do chemo. It's not going to make one bit of difference in the recurrence. And that's what he says. And he's an internist. He's, you know, not an oncologist, but he's an internist. So this is something he studied a little bit. And I know that's a radical view. But what he has said is just keep monitoring it. And if it comes back, remove that lump too. But don't subject yourself to radiation and chemo. It's just going to destroy good cells. There's no reason to do it. Just remove the lump. Have them keep monitoring. Okay? And that kind of makes sense to me. I can see that viewpoint. Now, Dr. Greger at nutritionfacts.org. He studies all the research. He reads all those journals and he accumulates all of those studies and he reports them to us. And he is kind of the same mind that don't do mammograms. Because mammograms find a lot of cancers that would otherwise, if gone untreated, just have cured themselves. They would have went away themselves. Our body has cancer in it at all times, okay? It may be a little, it may be a lot. The problem becomes when the cancer starts growing and growing and growing, okay? And becomes an issue, a problem. So you may do a mammogram and it may find a lump that they test and say, oh, that's cancer, we have to remove it. And maybe you didn't have to have that removed. And you may have gone on to do radiation and chemo and all the other stuff that they recommend you doing. And perhaps if you'd waited 5 years, that cancer might have went away on its own. Okay? So what he says is that the panic of, oh my God, I've got a lump, and the stress, it's going to put your body in dis-ease. And that's all a disease is, dis-ease. So that kind of makes sense to me too. Now, Dr. Mercola, who I don't really follow, but he has some good information sometimes. And some of it I just, you know, that differs from what Dr. McDougall says, and I'd rather stay with Dr. McDougall. But Dr. Mercola actually did an article on a study on the effects of wearing a bra to breast health. Now let's talk about that. Because I don't know if you guys realize, but only about half the time in my videos am I even wearing a bra. I hate to tell you that, because maybe you didn't notice. The thing is, when I don't wear a bra, I look heavier because my breasts are kind of large. And I'm an older woman, so they sag. And what it does is it makes my waistline look larger, okay? So you may think, oh, Tina looks a little bloated today. And really what it is that I'm not wearing a bra. Just a little disclosure there. Sorry if that's TMI. I own one bra. One actual true, the straps go up and it hooks in the back bra. And I use it for when I leave my house and I'm going somewhere that I want to look my best. Put on a good front. Anyway, most of what I wear when I wear it is these soft bras, and they look like a little mini tank, okay? And you might know them as a leisure bra. For those with smaller breasts, they might even be called a bralette, okay? And it kind of holds me up a little, not a lot. It keeps me from moving, and it smooths things out so that you don't notice so much that I'm not wearing one. And the reason for this is that bras, and I'm sorry, my camera's a little high today, in through this area and down, let me just adjust you a tiny little bit. Sorry, guys. I know this is not something you want to see. But in through this area, here and here, a bra will really pinch and dig in, okay? And what that affects is the lymphatic system, okay? Our lymph nodes are all through here, and it's the drainage for the body, okay? All the yucky stuff has to drain through there. And bras are very, very tight, and they close that off and pinch it so that that lymphatic system can't do what it's supposed to do, which is allow all that to drain out. And so he says that by wearing a bra, we're keeping that all tucked in and not allowing that to drain, and that's why we tend to get more breast cancer on the outer side of the breast, okay? Now, there are some studies that say anti-perspirants are the reason for that, because there's chromium and parabens and all different kinds of things in the anti-perspirant that clog that area, and that's the reason why we have more breast cancer on the outer side of the breast. What's your thoughts on there? Okay. Now, I read a study the other day, and I don't remember who wrote the article. Actually, I think it was, if you follow my Facebook page, Tina Turner Plant-Based Recipes, I've been doing a few videos, posting them from YouTube, and it's a conference, a medical conference with different doctors talking. And I think it was part of that series. Don't hold me to it, but I think that's where I heard this. They said that the constant, during the mammogram, the constant squeezing of the breast tissue damages the breast, and then hitting it with the radiation, you've damaged it, and now you're zapping it with radiation. And so that's the reason why some doctors say don't do mammograms, is because you're actually harming the breast and increasing your risk of breast cancer by getting mammograms. So that's something to think about. Okay, so what do? Are you wearing a bra? Like I said, when I wear them, it's usually a soft bra. And whether it's a soft bra or a real bra, as soon as I'm home and I'm alone or just with my family, that thing comes off, okay? Because I want my system to drain as much as possible. In addition to that, I believe that if you allow the breast to be in their natural state, you will build more muscle and have less sagging, okay? That's just my opinion. You tell me what you think. And I'm a large-breasted woman, so some people say, oh, you don't have to wear one if you have small breasts. Well, I wasn't large-breasted when I was thin. So it's all fat. I know it is. And I'm hoping that once all my weight is gone, they'll be small again. Hope against hope, okay? Large breasts do not run in my family. It's not an inherent thing. It's fat for me. So I don't use commercial deodorants. I either make my own or I use, well, we'll talk about that, okay? I'll do a separate video on deodorants. Let's cover that separately because this is getting kind of long. So just so that you know what I'm doing, I'm not wearing the bra at home. Take it off as soon as I get home. Try to wear soft bras whenever possible. Not using commercial deodorants. No, I don't stink. That have all those bad chemicals. I'm not using those. I'm using a more natural approach. And I've stopped having mammograms. Now, I have non-cancerous cysts, and my breasts are full of them. And the last few years, they started traveling up. Okay, so they're not just in my breast, they're in this area of my chest as well. And when they first started noticing them, when I first started having mammograms at age 40, the doctors kind of freaked out and sent me for a ultrasound. Well, they couldn't tell. So then they sent me for a biopsy. My breasts are so dense that I bent the needle, it broke a blood vessel, and contaminated the sample on one of them. So one of the samples in one of the lumps, it was fine. The second lump that they tried, bent the needle. The doctor was literally, shoving as hard as he could. Not a pleasant thing. So broke the blood vessel, which contaminated that sample, which meant that lump had to come out. Just because they couldn't tell if it was cancer or not, and they weren't going to take any chances. Okay, so I've had a lumpectomy. A few years later, biopsy another lump, And each time they tell me, no, it's not cancer. No, it's not cancer. And so I've kind of come to the point that I'm just not putting myself through this anymore, because it was extremely stressful, both thinking that I might have cancer, going through these procedures, watching the looks on their faces. And every time I have a mammogram, oh my goodness, you know, and then they start asking a million different questions because it's a new doctor, and they haven't bothered to read my file, haven't bothered to look at my past films. They just start freaking out. And I have literally been on the phone with a doctor that was freaking out and said, did you look at my last films? Did you see my prior procedures? Oh no, we haven't done that yet. Well, why don't you do that and then call me back? And then 2 days later, oh, you're right, it's nothing, there's no change from before. But they were willing to put me through that. So I'm not doing this anymore. My research has shown that a plant-based diet, a true plant-based diet with no oil, significantly lowers our chances of cancer. And in some cases, 80%. 80% lower. Okay? So I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing colonoscopies because I don't have that risk factor anymore. And I'm not doing mammograms anymore. So, and I now have a doctor that understands that and is fine with that. I did have one for a little while that actually said to me, if I have anything to say about it, you'll get a mammogram every year. And I said, you don't have anything to say about it. She looked at me like I was crazy because, you know, she was a doctor. And I said, you don't have anything to say about it. This is my body and this is my choice. And your job is to tell me my options, not to choose for me. And I went to another doctor. And my new doctor said, sounds fine to me. You don't want to do it? We won't do it. So, what's your view on it? On deodorant, on bras, on whether or not to get mammograms? Let's band together, ladies. Let's openly discuss this. And tell me what you think, please. Please, tell me what you think. Okay? Have a good day.